Welcome to Scaling with Purpose, the podcast where we explore the journeys of entrepreneurs who are building thriving businesses while staying true to their values. I'm your host, Alec Winter, and you can find me on socials at Ethical Capitalist. On the show, we dive deep into the challenges, strategies, and breakthroughs that drive real purpose-driven success. Whether you're an established business owner or just dreaming of taking the next step, this podcast will give you all the insights and inspiration to grow your business and make an impact. Today, I'm excited to welcome Caleb of Euroluxe Detailing. Over the past 7 months, I've had the privilege of working with Caleb to help him double his revenue through proper marketing and advertising. And in this episode, we're going to uncover his story from overcoming obstacles to building a standout auto styling business. Plus, we'll talk about lessons he wishes he knew earlier, industry insights, and his advice for other entrepreneurs. So if you're ready to scale with purpose, let's get started. All right, beautiful, dude.
So is this where you do your ads, like when you run your?
Yeah, so we've got this one, and then they've got
content?
Yes, and then they've got another location. That's. Do you know Austin at all? Like,
I mean, it's fairly.
Okay.
Yeah. We come here often.
Okay, so it's on the east side, like just east of 35, where the Whole Foods is at.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you know where that's at. Yeah. It's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got a spot that's right there as well. So we kind of go all over the place. But between these two, those are my bread and butter. It just kind of depends on what feeling I'm going for.
Yeah.
Because with that one, there's no table, you know? And so you're just kind of sitting in, at an angle to each other.
Yeah.
Which is nice, but in case I have something like this where I have like questions and shit ready to go, I've got that taken care of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
that's cool.
Yeah. It's fun. They do a great job. These are friends of mine. I originally got in contact with them because I was looking for content creators here in Austin for some really big brands that we were working for. And we actually couldn't afford the main guy, but he had a friend. And then so we worked with him, and then we've been working with them for, I think about 5 years now.
Yeah.
So we've had a lot of fun with that.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is sweet.
Yeah, thanks, dude. I appreciate it.
It's a nice setup.
They do well. Yeah, and I've seen many evolutions of this. They've done quite a good job. But actually, this wall right here is newer.
Yeah.
So, and that is actually, I don't know if you have one of those yet, the Samsung Frame TVs.
I was gonna get one.
Do it.
Yeah.
I do it. I've got one in my office now. I've got it in the main room downstairs, and I've got one in our bedroom too.
It's cool.
They're sick.
I was gonna get one because I just bought a house, and I was.
Ooh, congrats.
Yeah, thanks. But you buying everything brand new.
Oh yeah.
So I needed a TV, and I saw the big one.
Yeah, the big ones are, and they get pricey though. So what I do,
yeah, they were.
I get them at every year. I'll end up getting a Samsung Frame TV, but I always get it around Black Friday because they're like 50% off. So it works out quite well.
I wonder if I could be cool to get one for my office. I wonder if you can put like a logo.
You can.
Like
I'm having my
like
designer
file on there.
I'm having my designer create one right now. So
that's so the C on it, or
I think I'll do. It depends because we're doing a rebranding right now. So we're going to change our logo a little bit. Depending on how that works, it might just say creators. Because I don't know if you remember when we did our testimonial, I had like a live moss wall in the background. I don't even remember that at all, but it said creators across it.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to do something, I think, similar to that, obviously without it being a real moss wall. So we'll see what it comes out to look like. But awesome, man. Thank you for being here today. I really appreciate it. It's good to have you out here all the way from Houston.
Thank you.
So pretty sweet.
Yeah.
First of all, I want to start off to give a little bit of perspective. How old are you?
Just turned 24.
Okay, that's
back
young.
in October.
That's young.
Yeah.
And when did you originally get started with Euroluxe and kind of give that character arts there of how that all occurred?
Right after high school, literally. So I was 19. So graduated high school. I was working part-time, valet jobs. I worked at Enterprise Rent-A-Car as a detailer, ironically.
Let's go.
And then my dad told me, he was like, dude, you need to do something. You can't just valet the rest of your life. And I was like, that's true. Like I was kind of worried because I didn't know for sure what I wanted to do exactly. And then I started detailing, which was the whole story and why I started and how I got started, because I have an uncle that's in it.
Oh, okay.
And so it kind of actually started even when I was in high school.
Got it.
So
was he pulling you from, the day at certain times trying to get you to come detail for him or anything like that?
Not really.
Okay.
Like he actually started off in like painting cars. He did that for a long time, painting cars, doing it for dealerships, wholesale. And then he got into ceramic coating and PPF and got into more retail work. And he opened up a shop. And then there was a couple of holidays, summers where I went and worked for him and, picked up the craft, but it wasn't anything serious.
Right.
I just did it just to make some extra money.
Of course.
But when I graduated, I wanted to do real estate. I tried that for a little bit.
Real estate?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
were you doing apartment locator stuff or actually like going
wholesaling?
Really?
Like the most
That's the
hardcore
I was
way
gonna
of
say.
real estate investing. Yeah. Wholesaling. So door knocking on people who are like on the edge of getting evicted.
Yep.
So you can imagine door knocking on someone who's about to get evicted and you're over here trying to buy their house for like pennies on the dollar
Mm-hmm.
and they just shut the door and cuss you out.
Yeah.
So that didn't really work out.
Now, did you do that for another company or were you doing that for yourself? How does that industry work?
Yeah, I did it for another guy who was
Okay.
doing it for himself and he was well off. And I would be your assistant.
Yeah. Anything to start making some money and...
I didn't even care for making money. I just wanted to learn.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was young enough to where money wasn't like a huge deal.
Sure.
It's like I was single.
Yeah.
I had a paid off car at the time and I didn't have a house. I was living with my parents.
Yeah.
So I didn't care for money. I was just trying to learn.
So this was right after high school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like right after.
Why didn't your parents push you down what has been marketed to so many people across the United States that you need to go to college? Why didn't you go that route?
Yeah. For one, I don't think I would have had many options
Fair.
for college because I was actually a pretty bad student.
Were you the class clown or what was going on?
No, I wasn't a class clown. I wasn't a fool like that. I was just like really bad in as far as like academics.
Yeah.
Like I barely passed.
And is
Like,
that because you didn't have the intelligence or because you just didn't give a crap? Like
yeah, I didn't really.
my brother was the same way. And I was similar. Like I just did not enjoy school at all.
I really didn't enjoy it at all. Not at all. I liked the friends I had.
Yeah.
But that was about it.
Yeah.
I slacked so much just because I hated it and I couldn't. It was really hard for me to learn like history and algebra. I would try. Like I would actually try, but I just couldn't get it.
Yeah.
It just wasn't for me.
So would you say that you're more of like a hands-on learner then?
Yeah. I was hands-on, but at the same time, when you just don't like what you're doing, I didn't care for doing homework after school.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do that.
I was very much the same way. I did not allow school, especially high school, to steal my time. So I would actively be in class getting my homework done so that I wouldn't have to like work afterwards.
Oh, I know. I tried.
Yeah.
I tried that too. I tried. Like I wasn't lazy.
Uh-huh.
I tried. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
It wasn't, I failed classes all throughout school. I had to do after school, like grade repair.
Yep.
Up until senior year, it was the only year I made A's and B's ever.
So the potential was there.
Yeah. It was just started late.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, it sounds like maybe you just started to take things a little bit more serious, I guess.
Yeah, but then they always say senior year is like the easiest year.
You're not wrong.
So,
depends on your class schedule.
They just
but
pass you because you're about to graduate.
Yeah,
that's probably
just
why.
like get out of here.
Yeah, I know. But I did take business classes, and that was like easy. Yeah, that was a breeze. I never studied or anything.
What was the difference, do you think, between all those core academic classes compared to the business one that allowed you to succeed with that?
Because during in class and after school, I would actually that's what I would teach myself and for my uncle. But I actually bought books. When I was supposed to be buying algebra books, I was buying business books, literally from Barnes & Noble.
No shit.
Yeah, I would buy business books and I would watch YouTube videos, Ty Lopez.
Yeah, classic.
Gary.
Yeah.
Grant Cardone.
Yeah.
Like all the main guys. And I learned just not a specific business, but just how to run a business in general.
Sure.
And how to market, which is why I find marketing so important.
Right.
Because that is the biggest way to grow a business and the fastest way.
Absolutely.
Is proper marketing. So
yeah, I think it comes down to two primary pillars. It's like marketing and advertising. That's what gets you the customers, and then customer experience is what keeps those customers coming back and has you being referred out to new people.
Yeah.
So when it comes to that ideation process and the creation of moving into Euroluxe, let's talk about one. How did you come up with that name?
So that name I didn't come up with.
Okay.
That came from my uncle. So when he had his business was called Dynamic AutoWorks, which it still is, but it's owned by someone else. But before he sold it, he was actually trying to rebrand it, and he was going to rebrand it to Euroluxe, but he never used it. But the name was still registered to his. And so when I was trying to think of a name, and I was struggling, I was like, what do I? everyone uses their initials.
It's hard to pick something that's like, is going to stick and that you'll want to use for 10 years.
I know. I wanted something cool. I didn't want to just like CMV, which is like my initials. Everyone does that.
What's your middle name?
Manuel.
Okay, got it. Continue. Sorry.
So when he knew I was trying to think of a name, he asked me if I wanted that. And the name was already made and the logo, which was on my hoodie.
Yep.
And I was like, oh man, that's sick.
Yeah.
It just sounds cool. Euroluxe.
And you guys avoided like the primary ones that are used all the time, which is like pristine something, prestige something, elite something, and then sometimes royal something.
Royal diamond.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you got out of that whole headache there. Mm-hmm. So that's good. When you were first getting started, what is the first challenge that you really remembered as being like significant that you overcame?
Probably the biggest one was probably at first when I started, because I started mobile, and that's actually easy.
You think so?
The work is hard.
Sure.
Because you're in 90-degree weather and then you're in 30-degree weather. The work is hard.
Yeah.
But getting the business was actually easy, I guess. To me, I mean, I think it's easy in general.
Sure.
They're just $100 washes, $80 washes.
Right.
You could sell that easily, and you just reach out to as many PBOs as you can, and then you upsell waxes and sealants. But that's easy. The hard part was transitioning from mobile to the shop.
Got it. And how many years in were you when you did that transition?
1 year, because I hated mobile.
Okay. Fair
I
enough.
did 1 year. I started January of 2020. And by December of the same year, I was already in a shop.
Okay.
Because I couldn't.
And is that the same location you're still in today?
No.
Okay.
This is my third.
That's your third location?
I moved 3 times.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And I hated that. I hated mobile.
What was the, I guess dive in a little bit more into that. What was so hated about it? Because we have a lot of clients that start off as mobile and then move into that space. And we've observed that transition. Like we've seen the toll that it has on them, but we haven't dived deep into why it is, one, such a good transition and difficult to begin with.
Yeah. Well, obviously the potential. I mean, you can only grow so much as a mobile detailing company.
True.
And then it gets super hard. Like doing the sales I'm doing now, if I were to do that in mobile, that's a lot more stressful.
A lot more driving.
Yeah, driving, multiple vehicles, and then you're having to deal with hiring employees that actually want to do that job, because that's really hard to hire when it comes to mobile. You know, being able to put someone out in the summer heat and in the winter freezing cold. But yeah, it's the potential of what a shop can get you. And then, to me, at that time, the only thing I was thinking of was, I do not want to spend another summer doing this. Like,
so that was the
Texas.
Heat. Yeah.
Yeah, we're in Texas. So in Houston, when it's summertime, when it's August and it's 100 degrees outside, and you're washing a car with direct sunlight, dude, it's horrible.
You're getting baked.
Literally. Yeah. You would feel the heat off the metal of the car.
Oh, right.
And it's horrible.
So which kind of puts you in a position where you're actually experiencing like 110, 120, you know, especially if you happen to be on asphalt too, like that's even worse.
Not fun.
So the biggest push then was just how uncomfortable it was.
Yeah.
That was what was getting you to move.
Yeah, that was it.
Okay.
I knew the potential.
Yeah.
Like obviously, before I started, I had a whole plan. It wasn't just start and see what happens. I had a plan. I knew I wanted to get into a shop offering ceramic coating PPF. That was the ultimate goal. But it just came faster, because after that first year, I was like, this is the first and last year I am doing this 100% mobile.
So when you say you had a plan, did you actually like write out a business plan with like certain key metrics that you needed to hit and goals? What did that look like?
Not with a pen in my own diary, but
yeah.
I did have that in my head.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't have specific goals. I just knew that I'm gonna do this mobile thing for a little bit, build a reputation, build a clientele list, and then once I have it built up enough, I'm going to transition to a shop and sell these services to this clientele.
Okay.
But then that's where I kind of hit like a issue. So
expand upon that.
So when I did what I told myself I was going to do and what I was supposed to do, but the clientele I built up weren't the clientele that was going to buy PPF and ceramic coating.
That's
what happens a lot in mobile.
I was going to say, yeah, because you're not giving out $400 details.
No.
Like you said, you're giving out 80, 100.
Yeah.
What was your top package at the time?
It was popular for me to sell this $200 package.
Okay.
Where wash it, clay it, and then put a wax.
Yep.
Vacuum the inside. It would take like an hour and a half.
That's it?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So the top package then, or the most common you said, is like $200. That's a huge difference of a ceramic coating, anywhere from $995 up to $1,800 in some cases if you got a 5-stage paint correction and are given like a 9 or 10 year treatment.
Yeah.
And I see that as a big issue with a lot of detailers and auto styling shops. It's easy to sell $200 worth of anything. And so they come from this perspective like, I can close 90% of what comes in here. And then you go and get them a bunch of leads that are a class above what they're used to selling, and they fall flat on their faces because they don't know how to do it. So how did you navigate that? One, finding the right type of clientele, and then two, being able to pitch and sell that to them.
So when that transition happened and I realized that my clientele I had currently wasn't the clientele that I was going to be selling ceramic coatings and PPF to, I started, that's when, there was probably like a month or two where I was just dealing with it, and I was trying to scrape by, trying to get some ceramic coatings in the shop, going to car meets and passing out cards. But it wasn't until I said marketing. I need to get into marketing and target the people who are going to pay for this stuff. And so that's when I got into marketing, which
one of the primary reasons or let me back that up. One of the primary roles that I found myself fulfilling in my previous business that ultimately brought me to creating Creators Collective was the fact that I hated selling. And I wanted to do everything that I could to get somebody to buy without having to hop on a phone with them and convince them that I'm worth their time and money. And that is the idea of marketing and advertising, is to cue them up as much as possible to get them in the door. So what did you do for that marketing and advertising side of thing?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Even though I'm the opposite, I love selling.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good thing.
I like even like a cold, almost like a cold call.
Yeah.
Where just calling, like maybe hey, my friend got a brand new truck as well. May want to give him a call. Yeah. I like that whole challenge. I love selling. But marketing does make it easier.
Yes. Yeah. If you can get the qualified leads.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Marketing makes it easier. But when I switched to marketing, that was a huge help, because then, and it took me a while. Once I got into marketing, it took me a while to actually figure it out how to do it, because I thought it was just put a promotion out there and an ad and put some money into it and see what happens. But it's a lot more complex than that, which I finally figured out, later down the road. But marketing does help a lot, and especially for a price tag like PPF, ceramic coating. It's not something that you're going to sell the person that was buying $80 washes for, no offense, like a Honda Civic, like 2007, 90% of the cars we work on that do get PPF are brand new. Right. And that's when it makes the most sense. So that switch was the biggest reason.
How did you get your very first PPF and or ceramic coating client after you had made that switch to the shop?
How?
Yeah, how?
Let's see. Well, I know I didn't advertise PPF until I started working with you guys.
Oh, got it.
So
ceramic coating then?
Yeah, it was ceramic coating. And then PPF was an upsell, because I was really good at upselling already. Good. So, and it's just easy. It was a brand new car. I think it was the first PPF. It was a C8 Corvette. Ooh. Yeah, it was blue. And it came in the shop for ceramic coating, and she had just bought it. And I just simply asked, have you considered doing PPF? How long do you plan on keeping this vehicle? Is rock chips a concern for you? Because this is a low car, and you are going to get prone. It is going to be prone to rock chips. No doubt, you are going to get them. It's just a matter of, will it bother you or not? And
that's smooth, actually.
Yeah. And everyone obviously doesn't want rock chips on their car. It is going to bother them. So it's just, his PPF was like an easy upsell at that point.
What are some of the I mean, if somebody's coming in to get, $1,500 ceramic coating, and you're trying to upsell them on an additional anywhere from, I mean, depending on what package you're going through, $1,000 to $5,000.
Yeah.
How, like, let's use that C8 as an example.
Yeah.
What objections did she give you on that PPF and that you were able to overcome, if you recall? I know it's a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago, but I know for sure it was price. Because, when a customer comes into your shop expecting to spend $1,500, and then you're talking about another service that they could potentially be paying an extra $1,500 or at $3,000, that is hard. Now, that is a tough objection because they're spending a lot more. And at the end of the day, price is always the driving factor on a yes or no. It's always price. So, because people can always make time, the logistics of it, those are all other objections, but price is usually always the main one. And it was just about how much she cared about the vehicle. I mean, how much did this matter to you? If you don't really care about your C8, I mean, because think of it, she bought the C8. It was her sports car. They had normal cars, but this was their fun car for the weekend.
Love that.
A weekend car isn't supposed to look like your daily. It's completely different. They had their regular daily, pickup truck. They don't care for. It gets dirty. Then you got your weekend car that stays clean. When you want to drive it on the weekend, you want to drive it clean. And then when you want it to look super glossy and protected. And so that's why, I was able to sell her on PPF, because this isn't like your other car.
Right.
If you want this car to look super good when you take it out on the weekends and you go to a restaurant and you want people to look at it and be like, damn, that's nice.
Yeah.
You start with ceramic coating and PPF. That's the first things you do to get there. Right. So
absolutely. I guess then let's dive a little bit deeper into that. What are if price is the primary objection that you face on a daily basis, multiple times a day, with the amount of leads you get, right? How do you overcome those, especially on the phone?
Yeah.
Right. Because those people can hang up anytime they want. So how do you get through to them on that?
Yeah. The biggest objection when it comes to price is obviously it's not in their budget. And there's a lot of different things I go about working with price objection. The last thing you want to do is automatically discount the price. And that's last resort. My prices are set up in a way where I can discount to make it seem like, yeah, you got a deal and I'll give it to you. But it's still okay on my part.
Right.
But it's just about, my biggest thing when I sell to customers is educating them, so they know why I priced it the way I did, and if they're going to pay for that price, they know what they're getting and why it's that. And so educating my customers is always super important. When they come in person, over the phone, whether they know PPF or they have no idea what PPF is, I always educate them so when they get on the phone and they get off the phone, they know something more than what they did when they first talked to me.
Do you know what your close rate is?
I don't know. I haven't really looked at it. I haven't done the calculations.
Reason I ask is because, one, you seem pretty smooth, and I see your numbers, so I know you're closing.
Yeah, we are closing.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I was just kind of curious, what your close rate was, because it seems like you're not high pressure, but like you're overcoming objections, but you're not high pressure. Why are you not high pressure? Because you could be. You could get people to close a little bit more, I bet.
I don't want to come off. I don't like coming off as salesy. I don't want people to compare me to like that sales guy at the dealership.
Yeah.
Trying to sell them their car. And this isn't. I'm not that. I want people to feel like they can talk to me without being pressured, that we can just have a conversation. I can just answer their questions, and they can trust me. And with that, I feel like the sale comes naturally. Because then, in the end, I do put a little bit of pressure. I do ask some questions that really put them in a spot to decide whether they want to do this or not. But for the most part, I'm really chill. I'm not like a what do you call it? like a heater on the phone.
A heater?
I don't like. I'm not like pressuring people to do everything right off the bat.
Right.
You know, I smoothly work your way into it.
Yeah.
And then you close them in the end.
I was going to say, it sounds like at the very least, you're educating them enough. They will probably talk to somebody else to see if they can get it cheaper.
Oh, of course.
How often have you seen it where somebody does do a little bit of shopping around and they end up coming back to you?
All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's all because of your sales approach, in my opinion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I said educating is really important, because when they feel like they can trust you and they learned a lot more from you than what they did from the other people, then they're going to go to you, even if it means paying a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then there's also questions. Like, I watched a lot of sales guys on YouTube. Jeremy Minor.
He's great.
I love Jeremy Minor. And that's why you said, when you told me you're very smooth, it's because I learned a lot from him. He's very into tonality.
Yes.
And the psychology of it, and so that comes from the way you talk and being smooth and not being super loud and pressuring.
Excited.
Sound like you're trying to get a sale, like you're desperate for a sale, you need them. I don't need your card to come in the shop. Right. You know, and obviously, yeah, I do.
You want them. You want them to.
Yes, you care, but you want to sound like, okay, we're a big shop. I'm not desperate for this sale.
Right.
I do want you to come in because I want to take care of your vehicle for you. So, but yeah, it's the tonality and everything.
I've always felt that if you kind of remove yourself from your own business as much as possible and act like you're a consultant and you could push them in any direction and it might be away from the business as long as it's in their best interests. If you come from that perspective of, I have an option, let's learn more about you to see if this fits into that option. If not, I have other recommendations for you. So it sounds like you kind of do that a little bit already through your tonality, not sounding like you need that sale. You're not desperate for it.
Yeah.
You're removed from it. It's like, I'm here to help you. Let me answer all your questions. Let me educate you on why you should get X, Y, and Z. Worst case scenario, we might end up on X. Best case scenario, you get all three.
Yeah.
And then we can work together. And if not, that's okay. Come back to me. I'll check in with you in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And people respect that.
Yeah.
At least the people who, like the top, your top clients, the ones that they don't really care about the price. They'll spend the money.
Those guys are always nice.
Huh? Yeah, I know. But those guys still shop around. They're not dumb.
Yeah.
They're not just going to blow their money with anyone.
Right.
And so when you take that approach, they respect that, and it brings their guard down. So, that's what you said is actually really true.
A lot of times when I'm dealing with high net worth individuals, I'm more transparent than I need to. I will literally tell them what the price is, and they'll be like, can you come down? I'm like, well, I could, but I'd rather not. This allows me to make a 20% margin.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Respectable. It's not, you're not price gouging me.
No.
And the transparency is incredible. They're like, okay, let's do business.
Yeah. And that's part of educating them. That's making sure they know why you price your prices.
Right.
Why they are what they are.
Right.
So, we have a big shop. I got to be able to pay for it.
Yeah.
So I can't charge you $1,000 for a full front end.
Right.
Maybe the other shop can.
Sure.
But they don't run the same operation we do.
Right.
They probably use a lot cheaper film. And I pay my guys a lot more because they're very skillful. So things like that.
Now I have a question for you, because a lot of shops run their labor as the employees get, a lot of times they're contractors and they'll get a percentage of whatever work that they're doing, like a per project basis. Do you like to work that way, or do you put them on salary?
Salary.
You do salary.
I try to keep my business as simple as possible.
Yeah.
I don't like all the super complex numbers and percentage rates and base and bonus commission, like things, all of that. I give bonuses, but as far as the pay rate, it's just salary.
Yeah.
I know exactly how much I'm paying them every month. If they know what they're making, whether they're off or not, we're busy or slow, it's easy on both ends. And they like it. They like working salary. So
right. I see a lot of detailing and auto selling businesses go that more, percentage per project.
Yeah.
And I see I see them running themselves into the ground.
Yeah.
Because no matter what, your costs are going to be exactly the same. You no longer have economies of scale.
Yeah.
So you can't push one of your employees to get more work done in order to make a larger margin on each project. You're stuck paying 20% every single time.
Yeah.
And that's the same idea with marketing and advertising. I'm sure at some point you probably explored someone who is willing to get a 10% per job, that's closed on your end.
Yeah.
Again, now you're locking in that pricing. Yeah. So no matter how good they do or how much better you get at sales, you're always paying that percentage.
I know.
And instead now you can make an economies of scale. Like, here's the set price, and now you can go and run with that. And the more success you have, the more money that you make.
Yes.
Yeah. What was the you were talking earlier about like some of these guys that you have learned from, like Jeremy Minor, Grant Cardone. Yeah. Who has been your biggest influence in your entrepreneurial journey?
My uncle.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would be willing to guess, huge assumption here, that you have probably outperformed what he ever did. Is that true or not?
Not yet.
Okay, not yet.
Within his business, he's in a different business now.
Okay, well, with the detailing is what I mean.
With the detailing, I'm almost there.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm almost there.
Let's go.
I'm almost there. Like almost probably 10 years earlier than what he did it.
Now, I'm sure you go to YouTube University every day like I do, and you learn a lot from everybody. I mean, going forward, knowing that you are soon going to be outshining in a respectful manner, that you're going to be outshining your uncle, do you think you'll still go back to him for advice and try and find out what he did in certain situations? Oh,
of course, yeah. I mean, it can be endless of what I can learn from him. But anyone who does better than you can always learn.
Yeah.
So, and those are the people I try to get advice from, for the people who do better than me.
Right.
So, but yeah, I've learned a lot from him. It's good because he's been in the same business, so the advice he gives me is very like direct advice.
It's catered to you.
Yes. But even in the business he's in now, where he went from 10 employees with his detailing shop to 100+ employees doing what he does now.
Wow.
That you can learn a lot from that, even though I'm nowhere near 100 employees.
Right.
There's different things that he's learned that come down to me.
Talk to me about a moment, because a lot of entrepreneurs have this, a moment in your business that changed everything for you from that point on. Do you have one of those moments that like really stands out to you?
Yeah, probably.
Bring this just a little bit closer to, by the way.
Probably taking marketing a lot more serious than before. Yeah. Because when I say marketing was really important, it is, because when I took that leap of actually putting money into marketing, that changed a lot.
Based on what you said earlier, there's obviously been an evolution of what you've done for marketing. Mm-hmm. So talk about what you first started off as, what you developed into, and where you're at now.
As far as marketing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing I'm doing now, but with an approach that is not how we're doing it now. It's
okay.
So less ad spend.
Yeah.
Way less ad spend. Not using Google to our advantage. Mm-hmm. Basic meta ads. Nothing special on that. No landing pages. It was just Facebook ads going directly to the CRM, mm-hmm. which the landing pages make a big difference.
They do.
When people go to them, it's like, oh, this place is legit.
Mm-hmm. So
it's all those little things that I feel like with the company we were working with before, it wasn't there. We weren't, and that's why I didn't feel comfortable I was willing. I'm always willing to spend more mm-hmm. if it means making more. I'm all for growing, but I wasn't comfortable spending more money with them because I didn't feel like I was going to get my return, because I barely was. Mm-hmm. So,
well, we can use this as an opportunity to talk about the transition from your prior agency or freelancer or whatever it was that you used to us.
Yeah.
What did that feel like for you?
A relief.
Really?
Yeah. After like the first month of working with you guys, it was a relief because there was a lot of differences. Yeah, and the marketing I saw definitely was different, but it was more so the communication, the professionalism, the amount of people that are in that group chat that we have.
Yeah.
That if I have a certain question, there's a person for that question, and there's different roles, and I felt a lot better knowing that this was a better operation.
Without revealing names, you know, how big was the team that you're working with before compared to
Their team?
Yeah.
There was I think it was about the same.
Yeah.
As far as I know.
Right.
And I don't know their back end, obviously.
Right.
But in the group chat, you know, there obviously was a group chat with different people, and it was about the same. But I only heard from like one of them ever, and it kept changing.
Oh.
I don't know why. I don't know if they were getting fired or
a little bit of employee turnover.
Yeah,
It happens from
it
time
kept
to time.
changing. I kept having to meet a new person.
Yeah.
Every other month. It was changing so much. Yeah.
So that relationship aspect is super important to you.
Yeah, I didn't feel like I had a good like relationship with the person that was supposed to be working with me because it kept changing. Yeah.
And ultimately, they were probably getting you some results, but ultimately weren't hitting what you thought was your
Not
potential.
what I was trying to. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So obviously, you're experiencing some pain there. How did you get the gusto and that moment of confidence of like, all right, I don't care what happens, it's time to move on to somebody else?
When they basically said we don't do auto shops anymore.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I didn't know. They stopped offering their services to auto shops months before I decided to leave them, but I didn't know until after. I didn't know that until after I left.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So I think that's why it started lacking, because that wasn't their focus anymore.
Right. So then you came on board with us, and I believe it was June of this past year.
Yeah, sounds
correct?
like, June.
I think you looked it up before. It was like June 14th or something like that.
Yeah.
When was that moment where you felt like, yeah, I made a good decision, like this is going to work out just fine?
It was like the month where I did double my revenue.
Yeah. I think maybe August, I think was that? When did
I think it was August.
Yeah. I think that's when we
hopped. I think it was August.
Sorry to interrupt you. I think that's when we hopped on a testimonial that first time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that testimonial video that we did, that was, it had to have been the previous month.
Right.
So I don't know if we did that in September.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Something like that.
Then August was that month.
Okay.
I think it was August.
Yeah.
I'll be forgetting.
Me too, a little bit.
I don't know. Once it's gone, I'm on to the next.
Right.
I don't even remember. Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing. So what is your current goal right now? What are you trying to hit?
I have a micro goal, and then I have the ultimate goal.
Let's hear it.
For this year. So the micro goal is to be consistent at around 80,000 a month.
Yep.
The ultimate goal is to have that $100,000 a month.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Do you think you're ready to hit it this year?
I think I can.
I think you can too.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can.
Yeah.
It's honestly just up to me if I'm willing to put it up.
Right.
But yeah, I think we can.
Cool.
I'm going to have to hire more.
For sure.
But with my goal for this year, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to put more systems in place. It's not just about bringing in more work.
Right.
I'm actually trying to be more efficient, because if I'm ready to spend more and go even more into marketing.
Right.
But if the shop's not ready for it, then there's no point.
Right.
So I'm trying to prepare myself so that once I have the extra PPF installer, the extra detailer, maybe a sales guy, sales girl, then I'm going all in on even more into marketing, so that we can really bring in leads and get to that $100,000 a month.
Yeah.
I don't want to just hit it and then that's it.
Right.
I want to hit it and
continue to grow afterwards.
Make it the new average.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what would be your biggest piece of advice for, I'm going to section this out at each level.
Yeah.
What would be your advice to somebody who's just now starting their detailing business?
Focus on sales. I know even if you're just in mobile detailing, I know it doesn't sound like a big deal, but sales will solve everything. And if you learn sales, then you can do anything. You know, even if you decided detailing is not for me, sales can get you far. But if you learn sales, it's going to help you in the long run once you are in a shop. And because it took me, I didn't really start taking sales seriously until my second shop, when I was bigger overhead, and I was like, okay, I'm getting all these leads. I'm not even closing enough.
Right.
So sales is the biggest thing.
That pressure can also light a fire under your ass when you've got bills to pay.
Yes. Yeah. I had a lot of those times. even though like I didn't even have like financial pressure on me. It was just knowing that if I don't get through this month, you know, the business expenses don't stop.
Right.
And, you know, I'm not trying to go under.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then it's almost like a personal thing. I didn't want to fail at it.
Of course.
You know? I didn't want to tell everyone I wasn't going to college and I'm doing this detailing thing, and then I fail at it. And then what am I doing now?
So what do you think your ultimate motivator is then? Is it the fear of failure in a way?
Yeah. In high school, I had a big fear of doing what everyone else was going to do. That was like my biggest thing. I didn't go to college because that's what everyone else was doing. I didn't want to do resumes and apply for jobs because that's what everyone else was doing. I didn't want to take the extra classes in high school to get credits and stuff because that's what everyone else was doing. I had a different plan. I just didn't want to be. I wanted to run things on my own.
So I hear a little bit of a rebel in there. I hear a little bit of a contrarian in there, and then also a man that just wants to make his own mark on the world. Where do you think that comes from?
I don't know. A lot of it came from. I don't know. A lot of it probably just came from me being a little bad kid. Yeah, my parents would get on to me a lot when I was younger. I would just do stuff that I wasn't supposed to. Not terrible, not horrible things.
Dude, you're talking to another bad kid over here, so you're good. You can get as into that as you want to.
I'm talking about like I was big into skateboarding when I was younger.
Yeah.
I really liked skateboarding.
I was a longboarder.
Oh, okay. Well, we're not friends. Longboarders and skateboarders don't really.
Beef.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. But skating was huge for me. I loved skating. And so, getting in trouble was like going down to the next neighborhood to skate with my friends when I wasn't supposed to.
Yep.
Crossing the major street that divided our neighborhoods and things like that. Telling my mom to drop me off at the skate park, and I was going to be with my friends all day at the skate park when really went down to the mall instead.
Yep.
Things like that. I would get in trouble. And then when I got my car, it was even worse.
I can imagine once you have transportation to
when
take
I got
you.
my car, it was being late at car meets. So
That's hilarious.
yeah, I just did stuff on my own.
Yeah, I get it.
So I mean, I feel bad now looking back at it, but it correlates into what I'm doing now because I just have that mindset of I don't like being told what to do by another person.
A lot of people would say, and in fact, I would say it, and have said it to myself, is that, yeah, I might not have a boss, but really I have like 300 bosses,
Yes,
aka
exactly.
clients that I have to answer to. So how do you juggle that idea in your head of technically you got a lot of bosses?
Yeah. I don't like being told what to do in a respectful way, not just in a rebellious way.
Yeah.
Because I understand in the end, my clients are like your bosses.
Right.
They hire you to work on their car. So you have to make all of them happy. But it's just the idea of being able to make your own shots. I've got this whole shop to myself that I can decide what I want to do with it, who I hire, how I hire, how I run the business, the marketing, all that. I like to be in control of all that. And I just like being a boss, like a leader.
Yeah.
I like having the team because before it was just my own. It was, I didn't really realize that until I started hiring. And then I was like, oh man, like I like that I'm able to provide to this guy that he can provide to his family. And so it's like giving someone their career. Yeah. Pretty cool.
It is. It really is cool. You're not just responsible for providing a good service. You're responsible for people's lives.
Yeah.
Livelihoods.
Yeah. And if you think of it, it's a lot of pressure.
It is.
But they rely on you.
You're built for it, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I like it.
That's good. I want to get more into that work culture and kind of like how you pick your people and develop the team that you have and create culture and all that. But I wanted to touch on that next level of a piece of advice for somebody who's in that more, let's say 30 to 40K range, which you were at not that long ago.
Yeah.
You know, what's your advice for somebody that's at that range looking to scale?
Yeah. If they don't already have a team, you got to get a team.
Mm-hmm.
So hiring, and that is, to me, that was really hard. It took me a long time to finally get my first employee because I was so scared. In your head, you're thinking, damn, I'm doing so good this month, and we did good last month. You know, it makes sense for me to hire. But what if I hire and then the next month we're slow, or the next 3 months we're slow? That was in my head every single time I really considered to hire.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then it happened. I would be busy. I wish I was thinking, oh, I should hire, but then I didn't. And then the next month it was slow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, wow, I proved myself. You know, so that was a lot of discouragement. You know, but
well, you can also create those moments on your own. You can manifest, you know, that negative aspect because you're constantly thinking about it.
I know.
And the world is going to give you what you ask of it. So if you're thinking about that,
that's true.
Then you're creating this negative feedback loop. But it sounds like ultimately, in most cases, although it may have taken you a few go-rounds, you got past it.
Yeah.
So how did you walk yourself through that? Because the mental battle is the hardest thing you got to do as an entrepreneur, is constantly weighing shit back and forth and having faith in what you're capable of.
Yeah, because I looked at the logistics of it. I realized that when I was busy, I would get busy for a good amount of time, and I'd feel like I need to hire, and then it would be slow. And that was a pattern. And I realized it's because when I was busy, or you got the busy times, but then right before there was a slow, busy, slow, busy, slow. So that first slow month, I didn't have a lot of cars to do. So that means I had a lot of time to be on sales. You got a lot of times to be on sales, to be on marketing, close leads, get your schedule, you know, packed, and then you would get busy because of all the sales you did when you were slow. And so then I would get busy, and this is as a solo guy, no employees. I did everything on my own. When you would get busy, I would be in the shop doing all the work, the PPF, the ceramic coating, prepping the cars, all that. I would just be nonstop in the shop, zero time for sales. And then when all that went away, the next month would be slow. Is because when I was busy, I had no time for sales.
Right.
And so it was a pattern. And I realized that, and it was time for me to hire. Because then when I can hire, I can buy back some time that even when I'm busy, I'm still going to be in the shop, yes, because it's just one guy. One extra guy, he's not going to handle the whole thing. But I did buy back some time where even when we are busy, I could spend a couple hours in my office still managing leads and closing.
And so I think that first portion that you brought up then, you know, somebody who's just beginning up to like 10, 20K, sales is everything. Yeah. And it sounds like you lost your way a little bit when it came to the sales and the marketing aspect when you reach that next level. And so looking back, if you were to be doing things differently, would you have hired earlier and just kind of taken that leap of faith?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Because now I'm at the point where I'm not scared to hire another guy, hire a sales guy, you know, put more into marketing, because I know the return.
Right.
You know, it's just about, you know, being able to be efficient at this point. But yeah, I would hire right off the bat.
Yeah.
I would hire and just trust yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And worst case scenario, it's like, okay, you have a bad month. Hopefully you've got a little savings built up. You can float yourself.
Yeah.
You find out what the problems were with that. You identify it just like you've done in the past year. You fix that, and then you look for a better month that next month.
Yeah.
And then it's also lighting a fire under your ass. And we work under pressure quite well.
Yeah. I like it. I love the pressure. But yeah, that's true. That is true. And then when I finally got a PPF installer, that bought me back even more time.
Right.
A lot. PPF is time consuming.
That is very laborious.
It is very time consuming. So when I finally hired him and I bought back all that time, I've been focused on leads way more now. And to the point where I'm closing so much, I'm finding myself going back into the shop because they can't even handle it.
So let's test this. What does that mean you have to do?
Hire more.
That's right.
Yeah, so it's just a pattern. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then once you realize it's just a pattern, then you're not scared anymore.
Right.
Because you know what to do.
Right. Yeah, you mentioned to me, you know, just I think it was this past week this past week, you guys booked out into like the third week of January.
Well, now we're booked out into February.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah. That's what I said when I was outside. I was needed to make a phone call. Yeah.
closing another deal, or are you?
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
We won't take you away from your sales too long today. Well, that's awesome, man. That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, so you're the third week. You already jumped ahead a week or two.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I will say, though, the sweet spot is 2 weeks out. So
I know.
Time to hire.
I know. That's true. That's another problem is booking out too much.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things when it comes to this, but
so let's use that as a transitionary period. So the people who are doing 70, 80, 90, what is your advice to them?
Making sure you've got the team for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't and you get booked out like I am now, that's not a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice. It's a good problem, but it's still a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to hire so that you can cut that lead time shorter.
Yep.
No one wants, if someone buys a car and they want PPF on their brand new car, no one's going to wait a month to bring it into you, no matter how good your price is.
Right.
For the right customer, they want it done now.
Facts.
It's PPF. It's going to protect the, they're just not going to drive it.
Right.
So
also, it requires more work from your end because they're going to have defects on the car at that point, which
course.
means more paint correction.
Oh, of course.
Clay bark decontaminations is still the same, but it's all in that paint correction. If you've got to do more of that, you're screwing yourself.
And then they get a rock chip, and you got to put touch-up paint, and then they're upset that they got a rock chip, and then sometimes they even blame you because why didn't you get me in sooner?
Right. So now you've created a negative customer experience before they've even walked in the door.
Yeah. That's true. 2 week lead time is really good.
Yeah, that's the ideal one. That's what I've seen, at least, just from the observation standpoint.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other pieces of advice, maybe across the board, that you would love to tell other entrepreneurs in the detailing and auto styling space who are either just getting started, they're quite a long ways down their entrepreneurial journey, or maybe they're looking to even they might be looking to sell and move on. What is anything else in there?
I don't think that would be me. Yeah. But take the risks.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't sound right, even if you're not ready, you're never ready. That's why it's a risk.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's the 3 times I moved. So the first time I moved into the shop, and then I moved into a next shop that was bigger, and then I moved into the shop that I'm in now. All of those 3 times, I was not ready. Mm-hmm. I wasn't ready, and I thought I would have learned from the last one, but I didn't.
Yeah,
I wasn't ready for neither of them. The first one is because I was just trying to hurry up and get myself out of mobile.
Yep.
The second time was I needed because my first shop was run down, old building, and I was starting to get higher end cars, and it was not suitable.
Right.
It was
didn't match the brand.
No.
Right. And the experience that you had at the time. You were doing good work. I hear raving reviews about you. You can look at your Google reviews.
Yeah.
You've got good work.
Yeah. No,
so it just wasn't matching up.
No, I don't know. No, that shop was bad. It was horrible.
That was ass.
Dude, it was. Yeah, it was. If I showed you it's in my Instagram. You saw all the way down. You'll
I'll
see
check it.
No good. So when I got out of that, I got into something literally brand new. Like I was one of the first tenants in this complex. It was brand new. It was double the size.
Big move.
So I needed it, but I wasn't ready. But I didn't want to sign another lease on the first shop. So I had no choice. I just had to do it. And I was stuck for about the first 6 months. I was like breaking even, losing money. I made some money, but I was scared. It was kind of scary. And then I finally picked up on it. And then I was like, well, I need AC. I'm doing a lot more PPF.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
I didn't have AC in that shop. So I was like, I need AC, but I'm not putting AC in this shop because I'm about to outgrow it. And for those who don't know, when you put AC in a shop, at least, I don't know if it's like a Texas law, but you can't take it with you.
Oh, yeah. That's even with homes. If you install something on the wall, you have to leave it. Yeah. It's really weird.
Yeah, you can't take it with you. So I was in a position where, okay, it's either stay here and wait a little bit longer and grind it out, but then the quality was lacking. It was when the summer times, it was getting really hot. I was noticing imperfections in the film. So I just had to do it. I got into that. So I went from 2,400 square feet to 6,000 square feet. And that was because in the same complex, they had that available. A tenant left. It was 2 units put together with the wall taken down. And they had AC, but it wasn't really for the shop part. It was mainly for their office. So I was like, well, if I move into that one, I'm going to be in it for a long time, and it makes more sense to put AC.
Yeah.
But then to put AC in a 6,000 square foot costs a lot more than 2,400 square feet.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, well, screw it. That's really what I did, honestly. I was like, we were texting. He was telling me the numbers, and I thought about it. And sometimes I do things without too much thought.
Mm-hmm.
It's just make the decision. And I was like, okay, fine, let's go.
Yeah.
And then I signed the lease, and
that was a big moment.
It was scary. But.
So it sounds like I'm hearing two different types of decision makers that live within you. And the one is very logical, and you're looking at the numbers.
Yeah.
That's how you've made some decisions regarding the people that you're hiring.
Yeah.
And then this last one, where you're talking about going to the shop, it's like you kind of looked at the numbers, but really it seemed like it was an intuitive pull.
Yeah. Well,
you're just like, it was a gut reaction.
Yeah.
How do you decipher between those two, or how do you move between those two? And ultimately, what do you trust more, the numbers or your gut?
I just trust my gut and pray.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just got to pray about it.
Absolutely.
So that's what I did. And I just felt like that was the right move. Even though I wasn't ready, I prayed about it, and I knew that later on I was going to be happy that I made that decision, and I wasn't going to regret it.
When you were praying, were you asking God for discernment and helping you know what the right decision was, or were you saying, just make this work for me, please?
Kind of both. Kind of both, because I was like, man, I want to be in this shop.
Yeah.
But I want it to work out. So, because I didn't want to stay in that other shop. Mm-hmm. I needed AC. Right. It was going to be a waste of money putting AC in that one. So, yeah, I'm glad it worked out. I look back at it now, I'm like, oh, this is like 6,000 square feet is pretty big. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, yeah, it's not that big anymore.
And sometimes, from what I've seen on your Instagram, it seems like a lot of times it's packed out.
Yeah, we have a lot of cars in there right now.
Yeah.
And
trucks, Lamborghinis, Corvettes, Audis.
Yeah. We do a lot of SUVs for some reason, like Yukons and Tahoes. We do a lot of those. We just finished a Z06, and we've got 2 McLarens in there right now, and yeah, we got a lot of stuff in there happening all at the same time.
That's good.
So
we just got to get that lead time down to 2 weeks, and you're good to go, dude.
I know.
I've got a question here. Talk to me about the biggest failure or challenge that you've faced so far in your life. It doesn't have to be business oriented. And then how has that shaped you in the way that you do business?
I don't have a gigantic with that one failure that really brought me down, because I'm only 24.
Right.
Maybe I'll have one sometime in my life.
Sure.
But I'm still relatively young, so I haven't really experienced something like that yet. But something that I was doing that I noticed it just wasn't good was every time I would have this periods where I would be making good money, like I'd had good months, I'd go buy something dumb, which for me was cars.
Yeah.
So like I'd buy a car, like I haven't had a car for over a year in a while. So that was like a bad habit of mine, is buying a car because I had a good month, and then driving it for like 8 months, and then we had a super good 3 months, trading it for something else.
Yeah. You like shiny shit. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Like that car, like the Audi I have.
Yeah, beautiful car.
I bought it in April, and I literally almost bought an M4 2 weeks ago. Literally. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
But I'm glad I didn't, because I was like, I gotta stay away from that.
I can relate to that. And I would buy a car probably every single year. I have stopped myself from doing that by just going the lease game. I know a lot of people advise against that. I don't care. It's zero maintenance. It's a nice payment.
No, yeah.
I don't have to worry about shit.
Yeah.
But that allows me to then look at my next goal 3 years out.
Yeah.
And go, this is the car that I want to be in when that 3-year lease comes up. And in the meantime, I'm not going to go and get another car because you can't get out of your lease.
No, that's smart.
So that's the way that I section that out, because me and you are both very much similar in that way.
Yeah. Like I would do the same thing, but I just can't have a car for 3 years. That's too long for me.
I challenge you.
There's no way I couldn't. No, that's not a challenge. I just couldn't do it. I can tell you.
That's hilarious, dude. I love it. All right. So would you say that that's like one of the hardest lessons you've had to learn, or is there another moment that you can think of that?
Yeah, that's really honestly the biggest one. And the next thing would be, I wasn't always risk oriented.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in the beginning, I did play it a little bit safe. You know, obviously the shops were big risks, but in between those times within the shop, I was just playing it safe. And
In what way?
you know, just not spending as much in marketing, and you know, not hiring when I should have.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not spending the more on higher end products to get better results, things like that. I mean, obviously it's always like a money thing.
Right.
You know, you don't want to put out too much money because you're scared you're not going to get it back.
That is a scarcity mindset.
Mm.
How have you moved on from that scarcity mindset to that more of that abundance mindset? You know, that is, I'm always going to be provided for, and in the rare occasion that I might not be, I'm adaptable enough to figure that out and push forward.
Just trusting what I've built so far in the shop and the operations I've built. You know, I feel now that I can put up a lot of money into something and take an investment, and knowing even worst case it doesn't work out, I've got a shop backing me up that, you know, we can recover that in maybe a week.
Right.
You know, depending on what it is. But
right.
yeah, because back then I would feel like if I put up $10,000 on this thing, I don't know if I'm gonna get that back, because my months were so inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how my months were gonna be. It was different every month.
Sure.
You know, so now it's more consistent. Yeah, I still got my good and bad months.
Sure.
But they're at an average where I'm still making money regardless.
Yeah.
Even if I have a bad month.
Yeah.
I'm still making, you know, for a 24-year-old, fair.
You're killing it. How does that make you feel in your day-to-day life? You know, did you have moments in the past where you're just constantly stressed out? Your family notices, your significant other notices, and did you see a transition once you got to that point? Talk to me about that experience.
I'm pretty good with keeping it cool.
Yeah. I can tell.
I'm pretty good with keeping it. I mean, I've had some high pressure moments, but even when it comes to like a client, like a car, maybe there's a car that like we screwed up on, and I got to tell the client, you know, there's times where, you know, we're pulling off old PPF and the paint pulls because it's been on there for like 10 years.
Yep.
And it pulls the paint, you know, while all my guys are freaking out, I got to stay cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm super chill. You know, we did that a little bit ago where we pulled the paint on a BMW because it was on there for so long.
Yeah. Turning yellow,
and
I assume.
Yeah. There was, and it's, I don't know what quality film it was, but it was old.
Probably crap.
Yeah. I mean, it looked bad. It looked bad. And I was taking it off, and I pulled the paint, and my guy Isaac goes, "Hey, I think you just pulled the paint." And I was like, no. And I kept going. He was like, "Dude, you pulled the paint." And I look under. I was like, "Oh yeah, I did."
Shit.
I was like, "Well, I gotta tell him." So I was like, "Well, I gotta tell him, and I'll text our paint guy and send him a picture of how much it costs." And he was like, "That's it?" Like, well, yeah. I mean, it happens. Even though on the inside I was a little bit freaking out.
Of course.
Like, that sucks.
Still uneasy.
Because it was a good client,
Mm-hmm.
and he was new. He's a newer client, and I didn't want to break that to him.
Mm-mm.
You know, I don't want him to think of anything, but you just gotta keep calm.
Mm-hmm.
And if you keep calm with your clients, then they're usually super chill with stuff like that.
Right.
When you need extra time on a car, I just stay calm. Ask them calmly, and I don't try to make up excuses and try to make it seem like, oh, it was because of this reason. Just stay chill.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it does. I am cool with high pressure moments and things like that, or times where, you know, I may be down, but I don't seem like I am.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with my family, even though I'm down. I'm with my family, you know, as if everything's normal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You keep it even keel for everybody else.
Yeah. I don't want to bring that. I wouldn't want to bring that home.
You stay present.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. Especially like, you know, about to get married, and you know,
congrats, by the way.
Yeah. Thank you. You know,
What'd you say? 62 days?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. March 16th. I don't want to. You know, with business, there's going to come stress, and there's going to come times where stuff happens, and I don't want to go home and bring that to her, because that's not for her to deal with.
Right.
You know, she has her job and I have my job, but I don't want to bring that into our home where it affects both of us.
Mm-hmm.
So
now, did you always have this, cool as a cucumber approach, or was this something that was learned over time as the entrepreneurial journey kind of
I've always
shapes
been
you?
like this.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I can like go back to when I was in school and having like 3 Fs on my report card. You know, normally any other kid would be freaking out because their parents are going to trip.
But you're going on YouTube and looking up Jeremy Minor and finding out how to sell it to them.
Yeah, I know. I know you can sell your way out of it. Yeah, that's true.
Have you ever faced a moment in your journey where you did feel like giving up, like the pressure was too much and you're like, F this?
Yeah, maybe like one time.
Do you remember that time specifically?
I think it was when I was in my first shop, because it took so long to get it running. And even when I moved out of that first shop, I still didn't even have things working right. I just knew I didn't want to be in that shop anymore.
Right.
But yeah, there was in that first year of being in the shop, I did feel there was a time where I was like, dang. There was a time where literally my business account was red. Yeah. It was negative. Yeah. Because my expenses caught up to me. And it was not fun. It wasn't fun. But I didn't freak out. What I did was I literally texted everyone in my contacts on Instagram, all of the past leads. I told the agency, send out a text blast. I don't care if I'm doing ceramic coating for $300. We got to make something happen. So I got myself out of it.
Nice.
So
good job. You started hustling.
Yeah, that's when you go into hustle mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's maybe a little bit of desperation in that phone call.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's the time where I sound a little bit desperate.
Absolutely. Looking back through all of that, is there ever a moment where there's like one thing that you wish you had done sooner?
Yeah. All the things that I do now when it comes to scaling, putting up the money, hiring, taking on new approaches of business, new ways of earning business, new ways of marketing. I wish I would have done that sooner, because then I'd be way bigger right now.
Yeah, absolutely. But sometimes it works out the exact way it's supposed to. Yeah. Because when you grow, and I've had this experience myself, you grow too fast, things start lacking, and then you have to go back and fix the bicycle while you're riding it. And there's a big difference, because a lot of times we are, no matter what, riding that bicycle while we're fixing it and building it. But there's a big difference between going 10 miles an hour and 80 miles an hour, because anytime you make a small misstep, you can go flying off that bike. Or if it's 10 miles an hour, you're like, oh, I can just jump off the bike real quick and fix things and keep moving on. So.
Yeah, I'm happy how it's worked out. Because every year I've learned something. Yeah. And that's shown in my sales.
What do you think is the biggest thing that you've learned this past year of 2024?
2024 was definitely marketing. Definitely. Yep. Because that made a big difference, especially like in the last 6 months of last year. The first 6 months, my month to month was way lower than the last 6 months. Right. And that's because when I switched to you guys, and I didn't want to switch and keep the same approach, like the same ad spend and everything. I wanted to switch and really take it serious. And so that's, like, I think I told you, like, my ad spend was at like $1,500 a month before. And then you convinced me to, okay, let's do $2,500. Yep. And now I have no problem spending $5,000. Right. And I'm okay with spending more. Right. The only reason why I'm not spending more is because we're getting so many leads.
Yeah, you're booked out.
So I'm trying to just manage the leads I'm getting now. But that's why I'm trying to hurry up and hire so that I can, because I am willing. Right. I don't mind spending like $10,000 a month.
Right. As long as it's getting you a return. Yeah. That's all that matters.
Yeah. At this point, I know that.
And this is why we talk to so many business owners and encourage them to know their numbers, right? Like, we're going to provide you what your cost per lead is. Yeah. But if you know what your close rate is, and I encourage you to start looking at that, you know what your close rate is and what your average sale is. You can know that for every dollar that you put into advertising and marketing, you're going to get $5 back. You're going to get $8 back. In some cases, you're going to get $15 back. And then all you're doing is you're just putting money into a machine that gives you more money back. Business is easy.
It's not Vegas.
Right. Yeah. Maybe in year 1 and year 2 it is a little bit, but
when you don't know much.
Right. But once you've then worked out your standard operating procedures, you're working with a company that knows that you need to know those numbers and are still looking at them themselves. It makes it a lot easier to scale. So in that case, I'm not trying to point this towards me, but anybody that you work with, how important are the right people being involved in your business?
Oh, very important. Very important. It's not just, it's not, because once it comes to a point, it's not just about you.
Right.
Like I'm at my work, what we did last year was because of my team. Without them, like we wouldn't have been able to grow so fast.
Shout out to the team.
Yeah. Shout out to the team and you guys.
Yeah. Thank you.
You are the team.
Yeah.
Not just the people in the shop, but the like you guys and your team and all the other people that I work with and, tax consultant and like all those people, they all matter.
Right.
And so choosing the right people to take on those roles for you is very important. So it's all about a team thing now. I make sure like the shop guys that they're well taken care of.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting to get into that culture fit, and we'll get there in a minute. But I want to kind of do a little bit of an interjection here.
Yeah.
And talk about what it is exactly that you do. So auto styling encompasses a lot of things.
Yeah.
We've already hit on a few of them: PPF, ceramic coating, window tinting, all that jazz. Do you still do any detailing?
It's not really.
Yeah.
So the
few
only
and far between.
Yeah, the only detailing we do really is we'll offer maintenance washes for our PPF and coating clients.
Amazing.
So like how we warranty our ceramic coatings, we offer a 5-year coating, and how we warranty it is if they come in every 4 months.
Nice.
And do a maintenance detail. And so that's pretty much the only sort of traditional detailing we do.
That's great.
Yeah.
When it comes to ceramic coating, tell me and tell the audience what that is exactly and why somebody should get that on their vehicle.
Yeah, ceramic coating, you can kind of look at it as like a wax because that's what everyone is used to, is waxing your car. And the reason why someone would wax their car is to make it shine and protect your car, water spots and bug guts. And ceramic coating does the same thing, but it doesn't wash off when you go to wash your car the next time.
Right.
It's permanent. So that's the biggest difference, is saving the time of not having to reapply it every time. And the fact that, if you thought waxing was hydrophobic, wait till you see a ceramic coating. But the biggest thing is how long it lasts and longevity, and it makes your car look glossy. And if you got a brand new car and you're spending so much money on your brand new car, why would you drive around knowing that it's going to be prone to permanent staining and bugs and bird droppings? And you can do a ceramic coating. It's going to make it look brand new and keep it looking new and super easy to wash. And so that's ceramic coating is really nice to have.
Go ahead.
It's nice to have.
Yeah. I was going to say, from somebody who has gotten a ceramic coating on their car, every car for the past 9 years, I believe is what it is. It makes such a difference in just the day-to-day look of that vehicle.
Of course.
One, it is smoother to the touch. You can feel, and your fingers will get caught on that paint normally, right?
Yeah.
You can easily see that smudge. It kind of catches you a little bit. It's not like it's sandpaper.
No,
right?
yeah.
But it catches you.
Yeah, yeah.
When you get a ceramic coating, your fingers just glide right over it.
Oh, yeah.
And every time you touch the car, it's seductive.
Yeah.
Honestly, like when you shut the door, you're like, nice.
I know. I wish like someone could know how that feels. Like when you're selling ceramic coating on the phone, it's hard to have that vision, put that vision into someone's head. How smooth it feels. Right. It's only something you can feel in person. And so I wish, like, when I'm selling a ceramic coating, that they can just appear to the shop and have feel a car that we coated, and that usually always they're always sold at that point. Right. When they feel how slick it is.
That's what's so good for me on the back end, is that customer experience, and your clients experience that as well. The other portion that I really love about it is, we've got my wife drives a Porsche Cayenne, and I drive that Lexus. Yeah. And we went to a different shop for the Porsche and got a ceramic coating put on that. And it's only a year old and it's terrible. It's not good. And you can see the difference because it just rained in Texas here in Austin. And both of our cars, we've got like a carport and then one's outside, but my car was also being driven in the rain. So it was exposed to the exact same elements, right? That dusty rain that gets stuck onto your car. And what was so interesting is the difference between our vehicles after the rain had passed over the coming days. Hers has the dust all over the car. You can see it's white. So like you see that yellow and that brown. And you see the little bubbles where they kind of dried up. And then you go and look at my vehicle. You saw it pull in today. I have not washed that.
It looked clean.
I have not washed that in 2 weeks. And we just drove that to Houston, by the way. We were there Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, nice.
I was trying to find some time to see, but I just couldn't do it.
Oh, nice.
It was there. It was raining there. And we drove back. And again, I have not washed it. It looks fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah, because as we're getting into Austin, the rain stops.
Yeah.
Right? And the water is puddled on the hood. And then over time, you see it slowly just blowing right off. There is not a single streak on that car.
Yeah.
There's nothing happening. Like it looks pristine. It looks like I just got it out of the wash. It's such a difference maker. And then when you also apply it to the windshield and the glass up on top, for the sunroof.
Yeah, for sure.
Such a difference maker. I don't really even have to turn on my windshield wipers.
Yeah, I know.
It just flows right off.
Yeah, it flows right off.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's true.
Yeah, it's really sweet.
No other word for it.
Now, talk to me about the difference then between ceramic coating and paint protection film. Obviously, paint protection film way more expensive.
It is.
Why should somebody talk to me about the science behind it? But then why should somebody go with PPF on their vehicle?
Completely different product.
Yep.
Completely different. Two different ways of protecting your car. Obviously, what we just said, ceramic coating is meant to, prevent permanent staining, bugs, water spots, and road debris, which all of that can be avoided without ceramic coating. You could still, if you see a bird dropping, you wipe it off ASAP.
Right.
Ceramic coating just helps you give a little bit more time before it starts staining.
Right.
It makes your life a little bit easier. What ceramic coating can't do is protect from rock chips, no matter what. And rock chips are something you are going to get, no matter if you drive to Walmart and back or to Houston and back. You're going to get rock chips. And so that's what paint protection film is for. It's going to protect what you can't control.
Right.
And so doing a full front clip, which most people do, bumpers, headlights, hood, fenders, and mirrors, those are the highest impact areas on the vehicle for rock chips and road debris. Paint protection film is going to prevent those damages from happening. And what I always tell people is what it offers is, yes, it protects it from the rock chips, but it's preventing you from getting rock chips and then later on having to repaint the bumper because it looks all ugly and you want it to look new because you care about your car, you're particular, or else you wouldn't be asking me about PPF. Later on having to repaint it and then it doesn't match the same with the rest of the car, or the bumper doesn't fit the same. And so it prevents from having to do all of that, keep your OEM finish and keeping it looking new for as long as possible. And vehicles are expensive nowadays. Doing PPF and spending a couple $1,000s is definitely worth it.
Yeah.
And so
it's nothing compared to the grand total of the vehicle.
No, it's not.
Now
it's one and done type thing.
Right. And you can see, I'm sure you don't have a lot of Kias coming in to get a full body PPF, right? Maybe some a track package or something like that, or just the full frontal.
We still get everything, but
yeah,
that's true.
So where is that cutoff in your opinion? Like, when do you really start moving on from ceramic coating? As in my mind, 30,000 and under, you always get on your car because it's just going to make it look good, preserve the resale value.
Yeah.
And then somewhere around Mercedes, BMW, Lexus, like you start to get into that PPF. Do you separate that in your mind? Do you recommend them at different levels, or how do you approach that when somebody's interested?
No, the way I base what I offer and how I approach a sale is asking certain questions, because in the end of the day, it's honestly not about the car, it's the owner. The car's not going to pay for the PPF, the owner is.
Right.
The owner's the one with the wallet. So it doesn't matter, because we could do PPF on a Camry, while the guy with the brand new BMW 5 Series doesn't want to pay the money for a full front. He just wants to do ceramic coating. It all comes down to the owner. So I ask certain questions. Things matter, like how long do you plan on keeping the vehicle? Do you trade your vehicle pretty often? Do you trade it every year, or do you think you'll have this vehicle for at least 3 years? And if so, if they say 3 years, then I recommend doing a full front. Full front is going to protect from the rock chips and you are going to get rock chips probably within the first 6 months. So doing this now is going to keep it looking brand new. So that 3rd-year mark, when you go to trade your vehicle, it still looks the same. If the BPF on the bumper is all messed up, we can rip it off, just pull it off. It looks brand new, go trade it and get the most for your value. But if you plan on only keeping it for a year, then PPF may not be your route. I would do a ceramic coating. And if you really care about the rock chips, maybe you could just do PPF on your bumper, And then as all goes into full body PPF for the people who say, I really want to keep this vehicle for as long as possible.
Right.
I keep my vehicles for, the last one I kept was 10 years. So then have you considered doing PPF on the whole thing? How did your last vehicle look when you traded it in? Oh, there was rock chips everywhere.
Yeah, it was a piece.
There were stains everywhere. Well, this is what that's for.
Right. I love that. And then when it comes to somebody who is just calling up, they have no idea what this stuff is. I mean, you're all about education. How deep do you go?
Yeah, I ask the same questions.
Okay.
Whether
you have a sales script?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, nice.
In my head.
That's you. Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
It's just habit.
Yeah.
It's just habit. And, actually, you brought up sales script. I don't have a sales script because I don't sell based off a script. I sell based off what the customer, like how they are, right? How they are as a person. I'm reading them, their characteristic, the way they talk, how concerned they sound. Those are things that I read off of people to determine how I approach them and how aggressive or non-aggressive, what kind of tone do I go with. Literally, I mean, every sales call, if I were to have my sales calls recorded, it would sound different every single time.
Interesting.
They're not the same. I word things differently. What I offer is different. When I say the price is different. When I want to offer, because obviously I want to sell PPF to every single car.
Sure.
Sometimes I offer them PPF right off the bat, or I'll wait until later on. And that just depends on their concerns and things like that, the vehicle. So it's different every single time.
When it comes to selling over the phone, it's a little bit more difficult than in person. I think most people could say that about sales. In person is a lot easier it's a lot easier for somebody to say no over the phone. In fact, they can just hang up at you at any time and they don't have to worry about your feelings as much.
Of course.
Do you leverage, that human psychology by looking for more of an upsell once they drop off the vehicle, or do you try and just be transparent about everything right up front? Like, what does that approach look like for you?
Yeah, obviously, when someone asks, the first question someone asks is how much. The worst thing you want to do is tell them the price. So I don't tell them the price up front. I ask certain questions. I try to get as much information from them before I hit them with a price, because I don't want to offer something that's more expensive than what they actually are looking for, because then they get turned off and they feel like, oh, okay, this is out of my budget.
You're overselling at that point.
Yeah, you're overselling. Selling a $500 service is better than trying to offer them $2,000 service and they're not interested because they don't even have the budget for it.
Right.
So I'm trying to get some sell. So I wait until when they ask for the price, I push it out later on in the conversation, but not too much. I don't want to wait too much, because then you do all of this selling and educating and all this information, and then you hit them with the price and they're not even interested.
Right.
It's way out of their price.
Right.
Not every customer is going to be a customer. Some people just can't do it. Even if you try to downsell them on a ceramic coating or something, they just can't do it.
Right.
So you got to try to pick out and try to pick their brain and see how qualified are they.
It sounds like your customer experience starts at the sale, which it should. So how do you, from point A to point Z, the second that they talk to you all the way until they are walking out of your shop with what looks like a brand new vehicle, how do you ensure an exceptional experience throughout that entire process?
Making sure that my clients or a prospect going from a lead all the way to a paying customer, that they feel like they've made the right decision and that they can trust us no matter what. That is the biggest thing. I try not to be so salesy. Obviously, what people tell you is be professional in your business, but I don't try to be too professional. in a sense that I don't want to sound salesy. I don't want to sound like a AI. I don't want to sound like a robot. You know, I don't want to just sound like we make the sale, do your service, take your payment, bye.
Right.
We'll see you every 4 months. I like to have a reputation. I have a rapport. I like to build rapport with my clients and a relationship. And you know, I there's a lot of clients that I texted, "Hey, Happy New Year's. I hope you had a good time."
Yeah.
Not even talking about their car or anything.
Right.
You know, when I'm doing a sales call, I'm not all about trying to sell. I'm not all about the numbers and the service and the benefits. I'll ask them about, how long have you had the car? When did you get it? Oh, where'd you get it? What dealership? Oh, okay, nice. I have a buddy that works there. How do you like it? Okay, nice. Yeah, I've driven one. You know, I think it's a fun car. Things like that. It's bringing down their guard so that they feel like they're talking to a friend rather than just a sales guy. Because when you talk to your friend, you're way more comfortable and outgoing than talking to a stranger.
Right.
So, because when you're talking to a stranger, your guard's more up.
Right.
So, and when you talk to a friend, you can give more information. You know, what you tell your friend about your personal life, you're not going to tell a stranger, right? So that's how I try to make them feel.
I like that a lot. That's fantastic. What motivates you to be constantly improving that customer experience? And I don't mean customer service. That's different. That's more reactive.
Yeah, right.
It's more of that customer experience, being proactive about it. You know, how do you develop that, and how do you provide such a high standard with that?
Yeah. For one, it's making sure that myself and the shop team understand that without our clients, I don't have a business and you don't have a job. So we got to make sure that our client experience is top tier, because they pay the bills and they pay your salary. So we have to make sure that we make them happy, that we try to say yes to them as much as possible. I hate saying no. Even if it's something we don't like to do, maybe it's something we don't do, but if it means doing that extra step and saying yes to them, they really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something doing something for free. Maybe they're doing a full front. They're spending already $3,000 and they want to do black out the side reflectors. It's usually like $60 that I charge. Do it for free.
Right.
Like, don't really charge 60, but you know, I'm gonna do it for free.
Yeah.
I do it for you. I'm glad that you asked. I think it'll look really nice.
Yeah.
Things like that is what really matters, and they appreciate that, and that's something that they'll remember, and they'll want to refer you, because it's more than just the quality.
Right.
A lot of shops have quality work. You know, there's a lot of shops that don't, but
we don't work with them.
But that's not quality. Isn't a something that makes you so much different than any other shop.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of shops do have nice quality and have good pricing. It comes down to the experience, your branding, how they see you, what your image looks like, how you talk to them. You know, when they came into the shop, you know, offering them a drink and being kind. Those are the stuff that really resonates to them. Yeah. Because they're paying that much money, they're already expecting a good job. Right. You know, they're expecting that. They're not expecting anything less. You know, they're not trying to, you know, do a half-assed job. That's not what they're expecting. They know they're going to get good quality for the most part. It's that experience that really matters. Yeah. So.
You mentioned to me, you know, once on our little testimonial video that putting you in front of the camera has made a really big difference in your branding and your marketing and getting the right leads in. Yeah. It's a little bit off topic here because I'm trying to get started on this section where I really want to talk to you about your culture and whatnot, but it reminded me of that. So how has that affected, you know, the business as a whole? And please, you know, talk about some of the experiences that you've had with clients reaching out to you.
Yeah, very good, because they can put a face to it. And people trust other people. Right. And people will trust people they like. And so when I started putting my face on the ads, which I've never done before, it made a big difference. I almost noticed that when I would hop on calls or people would call me from the Facebook ad with me in it, they talk to me as if they already know me.
So their guard's already down.
Yeah. Because then I said, hey, this is Caleb with Euroluxe Detailing. How can I help you? Oh, this is Caleb. And then they, they start talking. But it's almost like they know me because they see me on the video and, oh, I'm talking to the guy I just saw.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, but I have had a couple people come into the shop or call and say, hey, where's the guy I saw on Facebook? Yeah, for real.
I want to talk to him.
Yeah, I know. For real. That was funny.
I love that.
But yeah, it made a big difference.
So we've gotten to the point, we've kind of mastered that marketing, the advertising. You're really good at the sales. But when it comes to the rest of your team, how do you train and inspire them to deliver consistent and high quality work throughout the day and the week and the year?
I know. That's tough. And it's something I'm still learning because it's not that I haven't had a full team for that long.
Right.
And so a lot of this stuff I'm still learning as I go. But what I've done so far right now is I don't want to be a boss to them.
Right.
Where I'm just telling them what to do. I want them to see that I care and that when times are busy, that I'm not just putting it all on them and, hey, you need to stay late, coming on Saturday and Sunday. I want them to see that when it's busy, I am still willing to come out there into the shop and help you guys.
Right.
No matter how, even if I don't need to, I want them to see that I still can and I will. And when they see that from their boss and they feel like, oh, this guy actually cares.
Right.
And there's a lot of other things too, small things like, sending out text messages and appreciating them, gift cards randomly, saying, hey, don't bring lunch tomorrow. I got us with lunch, getting Wingstop.
Yeah.
Things like that. All those small things matter. And then just, obviously they know a difference between the fine line of, at the end of the day, I still am your boss.
Right.
And I'm the one paying you, but I'm also your friend.
Mm-hmm.
And we can be cool and we can have fun in the shop, as long as stuff gets done, and knowing that we have to make sure that these cars look good and the customers are happy because they're the ones in reality paying you. And so, but as long as they know that, then it's always a good environment. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like you are approaching, being a quote unquote boss in the way that really successful business owners do. And that is that you're acting as a leader.
Yeah.
Right. You said you're willing to get into the trenches with them. You're going to hop on that car and help them put that PPF on.
Oh yeah.
If they need you to step in and do that clay bar decontamination before they lay it on so that they can just move from one car to the next.
Oh, for sure.
You're stepping up for that.
Yeah.
And you're taking care of it.
Yeah.
That's the difference. It really is. You're not that manager boss type. That's why I actually hate the word boss.
I know. I hate saying it.
some of my team members call me Big Boss just to like joke around, and I can appreciate that one. But, most of the time, just call me Alec.
Yeah, it's funny.
But yeah, you're more of a leader than anything.
Yeah.
It's really important.
I don't ever want them to see me with my, feet kicked back in the office and watching them work.
Right.
If I feel like I could do something, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
But they always know when I'm in the office, it's because I'm doing sales.
Right.
So they always know that, oh, if Caleb's in his office, he's doing sales.
Yeah.
So
huge for the program.
Yeah.
Where do you see the business in 3 years / what are your goals?
3 years?
Yeah.
So was it 27?
I'll be 2028, brother. This is 2025 now.
True. That's true. 2028. Definitely past the milestone I want to be at, which is, doing 7 figures.
Yep.
Definitely past that. Having a full operation that's systematized.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't want to. Of course, I'm gonna be there, but I want the business to be to the point where I don't have to be there.
Mm-hmm.
I still will, but I want it to operate. I want the shop to operate on its own. Cars coming in and out at a high quality, at an efficient time on its own.
Mm-hmm.
Sales to be on its own. I want a person in the front to be able to manage schedule and take in the car and give a quote, things like that. That's where I'm trying to be at, and then from there scale it keep scaling. It's always just a numbers game at that point.
Yeah.
I want to do really high numbers.
Absolutely.
But getting it to 7 figures is definitely, it's like my big goal right now.
That's huge.
That's what I'm trying to do.
I think you'll achieve it this year.
Oh, maybe.
I think you will. You get your hiring in place, then it really just comes down to just more and more money.
Yeah.
Into the advertising.
Yeah. I think it's crazy because I was thinking about it the other day. I did hit my goal for last year.
Okay.
But I realized,
that's huge.
Yeah. But I did realize that I hit it because I hired the PPF installer, but I hired him in September.
Ooh.
So if I would have hired him, I was like, and I thought to myself, if I would have had him all year, I would have done way more, way more. And so now that I'm seeing that, and now that I have a full fiscal year with him, and I'm going to hire even more, and even put more into marketing, I really think I can get close to that.
To the moon, baby.
I'll probably break it.
Yeah, I think you will.
I
think you will. You need to have that mentality that you will get it, because then you will find a way to get it done.
We will.
What was that moment that you realized that you had finally made it?
I don't feel like I have.
Good answer.
Yeah, I don't feel like I have. I feel like I definitely, and I'm blessed and grateful that I've been able to grow as much as I can, because every year has been big growth. I've had a couple years where it's double, but I don't feel like I've made it yet.
That's good.
Even at 7 figures, I don't like. Yeah, hitting $1 million mark is amazing, but I don't feel like that's making it.
Right.
There's plenty of other shops doing way more than that.
Oh yeah.
Way more.
Oh yeah.
Big time shops. And they're just normal guys.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think like I made it yet.
That's good. Honestly, like I said, I think that's a really good answer.
Yeah. I want to keep going.
Yeah, keep pushing that goal out.
Yeah. I get people ask me like, are you gonna sell eventually and have an exit strategy? Like, I don't have an exit strategy yet.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to keep growing it, because at this point I love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a numbers game. It's fun. Just keep growing as big as I can. I'll tell you, I don't think it's in the 3-year mark, maybe a 5-year mark, but I do want to have a shop here in Austin.
That'd be great.
I want to open a shop here in Austin.
I tell a lot of people though that they should double down on their home location first.
Yeah.
Because Houston is huge.
Oh, I know.
And you're north-ish Houston.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I'm in a good spot.
Yeah.
There's plenty of opportunity.
And I don't think you would want to go south, right?
No, you don't. There's nothing south.
Yeah. So maybe west-ish, or maybe even east.
Yeah.
I would say dominate that spot first.
Oh, of course.
Honestly, become like a household name there.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of already have become one in your area.
In the area, yeah.
People know you're a little local celeb.
Yeah.
So I think if you do that, then come to Austin, because Austin is competitive. It's another city.
Yeah.
And if you're already starting up with that brand, starting with a good brand reputation in your area, and then you are unfortunately duplicating yourself a little bit, and having to manage 2 different places. But I think before you do that, you'd probably have a sales guy in place and then ready to expand.
That makes total sense. The only reason why I say that is because I know eventually we do want to move to Austin.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
It'd be great to have you here, man.
We love it here.
It's great.
So, but I would like to have a shop here at the same time.
And it's not as swampy over here, so.
Yeah, I know.
It gets hot,
I know, but not humid like over there.
Yeah.
It's like a sauna.
Yeah, it gets bad over there.
Yeah.
I've only visited a handful of times, but shoot, even in the wintertime, it's kind of humid, which is kind of surprising.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Come to Austin, man. This place it's actually been booming, but it's coming off of its high horse right now. So in the next couple of years, I think it's going to be
How is the detailing community over here? Like,
competitive. Yeah, there's quite a few.
I mean, I can't imagine being more competitive than Houston.
It might be on the same level at least.
Yeah.
I don't know the Houston market as well as I do Austin, just because I live here and we get a lot of leads from Austin. Like when we have our ads up, the same funnel that you came through, we get a lot in Austin. We have to turn down a lot of them. But what I tend to see happen, and this happens everywhere, but we'll work with a shop, and then one of their employees goes off and does their own thing, and then they want to hire us to work with them, and that happens, I would say, once a month. like across the board,
Wow.
like across the United States.
Wow, that's crazy.
Maybe a few times a month. And in Austin, they're popping up all over the place. In fact, what I've noticed is that our advertisements are the least effective / we have to be extremely innovative in saturated markets like Austin. Some of them in Florida, especially up on the Northeast coast as well, you really have to differentiate yourself because everybody's running ads.
Yeah. Is it because in Austin, people have a shop in somewhat in the same radius? Or is there shops like outside?
There's shops
outside of Austin.
Yeah, there's shops all over outside, like Cedar Park, Pflugerville,
Okay.
Bernie, Texas. That's a little bit more. That's actually way south. That's more like San Antonio.
Oh.
But New Braunfels, I think, is just a little bit south there.
Oh, okay.
And then there is also a ton still like
The
in
suburb
Austin.
areas.
Yeah, there's suburb areas all the way up to Lake Travis. Like
There's a lot.
I would not be surprised if there's 50 or more.
Wow.
And now some of them are very small operations. They're doing 5,
Yeah.
10, 15K a month.
Yeah.
Which you can outcompete.
Yeah, yeah.
No question about it.
Yeah. I'm talking about like established
Big ones,
big shops.
probably 5 to 10.
That the ones you are going to really compete with.
Yeah, 5 to 10,
Yeah.
I'd say. Because we've turned quite a few shops in Austin to the big ones,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, now what I would look at is places like Cedar Park that are continuing to grow. You know, that's 25 minutes northwest of Austin.
Cedar Park is really nice, right?
It's pretty nice, and it's growing. It's like one of the fastest growing neighborhoods
Yeah.
in the U.S.
Like $1 million homes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, like most of Austin. I don't know if you've looked at the real estate prices here, but they're insane. Yeah, they're insane.
It's crazy.
It's $1.5 million
It's
if you
more
want
than Houston.
Oh yeah. I mean, not like where was I? Post Oak and like Broadway or whatever it is. Like
Yeah, Post
those
Oak
are,
and River Oaks.
River Oaks. That's what I'm thinking of. Those were massive.
Yeah, yeah.
You have those, but they're not that old like colonial style. They're like new and modern.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of them, mostly along the
Yeah.
lake, Terrytown, stuff.
No,
like
I
that.
saw that.
Yeah,
I saw that. I was looking on Zillow the other day.
it's gross.
That's crazy.
What do you think separates successful detailers from those who struggle, as a broad statement?
I wouldn't say work ethic. Everyone says that,
Mm-hmm.
but in the end of the day, it almost kind of is that,
Mm-hmm.
because if you're not, I'm gonna say the willingness to be able to put yourself in positions to succeed, risk management, work ethic. Like, I didn't want to go out in the summer times washing cars 90 degrees. I didn't want to do that,
Mm-hmm.
but I had to.
Mm-hmm.
And so that mindset of, even though you didn't want to do it, and maybe you didn't have to that day, maybe you're already having a good month, I still did it. And so the willingness to be able to push yourself no matter the circumstance is, I think, what actually drives not just a detailer, but any entrepreneur.
Yeah,
Is to the next level.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And when I say detailer, I just use that to kind of encapsulate the whole auto styling. realm, in a sense.
Yeah, that's true.
What is one misconception about being an entrepreneur that you would want to debunk in a way?
That everyone's rich.
Yeah.
Oh, you're rich. You're a business owner.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
No.
Yeah. Well, there's some, but not every business owner is like that.
Right.
Some business owners have their operation to where it's just almost like a job.
Right.
They're just making their own shots.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, not every business is what you see on, Netflix on selling Sunset.
Right. Right.
It's some people have it in a way where, maybe their previous job actually paid more and they
Mhm.
worked less,
Mm-hmm.
and then they can't get out of that stump. There is that misconception of just because he's the business owner that he makes a ton of money, and or being able to do whatever you want to do. Oh, you can call off.
Yeah.
Oh, you got your own shop. You're your own boss. You can call off whenever you want. I get that a lot.
Oh yeah. So do I.
I get that a lot.
Yep.
Mhm.
They expect me to be able to golf on Monday and Tuesday and
I know,
Wednesday and
I
Thursday
know,
and
I know.
Friday, and it's like,
I
yeah,
know.
you technically could, but like,
I know.
you have this calling that you are there to fulfill.
Yeah.
And you're not going to take a break from that
Yeah.
just to go golfing. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes. You
Maybe
take a break.
sometimes. Yeah. Golf is fun.
It is
Yeah,
fun.
I played when I was younger.
Oh, you did?
Mm.
That's one thing that I wish I had always had, is starting younger, because I didn't pick
Yeah.
it up until a couple of years ago.
Yeah. It runs in my family.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
So my brother plays for high school. My dad played for high school.
No
Yeah, golf is fun.
Okay, well, the next time that I'm coming to Houston or you're coming to Austin, let's make it a date.
Yeah, sure.
Let's go get 9 holes in. Just call it good.
Yeah, I'd probably 9 holes. I probably shoot like 60. But we'll see.
I'm getting better, so maybe, maybe I'll be ahead of you on that.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, I love golf. I love golf and the things that it teaches you about business and yourself as well. You know, that's really important. If you could sum up your journey in one word, what would it be and why?
Man, one word. Tough. Not easy. It's been great, and I've been blessed, and I've met a lot of great people and had a lot of clients that I've made friendships from, and I've learned a lot of things that not only that's taught me within my business, but even outside. You know, as a person, as a soon-to-be husband and a future father.
Congrats again.
Yeah, thanks. I've learned a lot that has definitely improved me as a person and as a man that I probably wouldn't have learned before. But it was not that came with how tough it's been. Right. And I guess that builds your character. When you go through those tough situations, I've learned to manage, you know, the pressure and you know, stress, and not taking it out on other people and things like that. And it's been tough, but I've learned a lot. So
yeah, it seems like you've molded yourself into the man that you want to be now, and you continue to do so. Yeah. And in becoming the man that you want to be for yourself, your family, etc. Yeah. Well, thank you, Caleb. I really appreciate you coming on today. Where can people find you?
Instagram, Facebook, Euroluxe, PPF. That's the main ones. And then we're on YouTube as well. I've got some videos on there.
Okay. Awesome.
Follow me on Instagram.
And then what is your website?
www.euroluxedetailing.com.
And your phone number?
713-298-8819.
If you're in Houston, you've got the best guy in the business here, so make sure you use him for your cars, guys.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I've also gotten this for you, a little Creators Collective hat.
I was going to ask you.
Feel free to sport it.
Can I take this?
Yeah, absolutely, dude. It is all yours, man.
I was going to wait till later, but I was like, dude, this is sick.
I'm glad you like it.
Yeah. This is nice. I want to make hats.
I've got a guy here in Austin. If you need a guy that you can do embroidering, like he'll order the hats for you. Yeah. He'll do the embroidery and then he'll ship it out to you. And he's very well priced. Nice. Very well priced. Good guy. I started off with him back when he was just starting with like screen printing, and now he's doing work for HEB, Amazon, like all these big companies. But he's still very fair. He's still fair to little guys like me and you. Yeah. So.